Alrighty. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hi. Hi, Veery. You're kissing me? Whoa. I feel so lucky. Hi, Zawowo. Hello, Mateo. Hello, 26. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. Absolutely wonderful to see you all again. I always feel like it's been too long. How are you all? How are you? Tell me about your day. Tell me about your Thursday. While I adjust my microphone a little bit, because you need to hear me a little better. Get your ears open, good and ready, because oh, I don't like how wiggly this is. It'll be fine, don't worry about it. But yeah, tell me how you are. It's been a long working day, but productive, and I'm now here to relax. And how am I? I've had a bit of a stressful day, to be honest. Work was busy, overstimulating. I'm being messaged by a bot. Maybe? Hold on, what is this? I received a random message from someone I've never met on Telegram with just a Telegram link. I'm like, no, I'm good. Unless it is somebody I just remember. I've forgotten, but I doubt that. It's been a productive day, very busy, but good. Very, very brain off tired. So this is the perfect stream. Well, do I hate to break it to you, but this stream involves some thinking. Not a lot of thinking. The bare minimum of thought is required for here. Also, I don't know why I put a jumper on, but I'm going to take that off. So give me a second. Give me one moment while I just so casually undress in front of the class. Ugh. There we go. Oh, my dear mouse. Anyone can think. Anybody can think. So, today is going to be a rather exciting day. What? What? I asked... well, bye then. What is this interaction? This is new to me. Hi, Fuba. Sorry, I'm so taken aback by this. So, Telegram message comes in. It's a Telegram link. So I naturally ignore that, and I just asked, what the fuck is that? They then replied, spam. To which I very politely say, I'll pass. And then they were like, yeah, I fell for a spam bot. And I'm like, goodbye. They went, yeah. And alright. Thanks, random person. Anyway, hi Fuba, how are you? Hello, hello. What a weird... I also send the Telegram message. I see. And I know what kind of video you've just sent me. And... No. No. I've seen those before. I am chronically online. They are certainly videos. It's so funny. You're so funny. I'm glad you're doing okay. You're just getting pimsa. 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 Whoa. And hello, Mike. Oh my goodness. So many creatures. Alright, so today is going to be a nice, easy stream for all of you all. It's going to be a lot of reading for me. But essentially, what we're doing today, if I go to the right page, boop, we're on Wikipedia, baby. Also, there you go. There you go. If that's better for you. We're on Wikipedia because we are doing Wikipedia. Essentially, what I need, here's what we're going to do. Here's how this is going to work. I will ask chat to give me a random anything, as random as you can. And then I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go to the page that you give me. And then I'm gonna click links I see in there to learn about more stuff. And we're gonna go from there. We're gonna keep diving down into rabbit holes. And we're just gonna see what we can learn. We're gonna see if we can learn anything random, anything weird, anything fucked up, because there's bound to be some things. Hello, Yoon. Welcome on in. Also, I'm gonna make myself just a little taller. You can look at me more today. There we go. Can I? Ooh, actually, hold on. Flip. But if I flip, then the book gets fucky. Flip. Look at me. I'm so full of tricks. Just like hiding it. There we go. I don't want to hide the text too much. But hello. Okay, so. Gonna go weed my patio while I wait for my Pimza. Message me if you need me. I'm gonna... There you go. You intend to? Good, very good. So, give me a topic. I'm back. What's wrong? I just missed you. I just missed you, Fuba. I just missed you. That's all. Hi. Aw. Got a smooch. I appreciate just how quickly you came back as well. I appreciate how speedy that was. We need the woof for emotional support. Absolutely. Talk about a teacher's pet, am I right? Ha. I'm so tired. Most of the redeems are still viable, by the way. The only one which isn't going to do anything is changing. The change project would be a waste of 10,000 points for you. But all of the redeems are still viable if you wish to, you know. Wouldn't mind being a deer's pet. I mean, hey, I should go back to weeding my patio. You have a very productive time weeding your patio. And as always, as it is with these streams, if you want to engage, feel free to. If you want to just lurk and relax, also viable. You get what you want out of this stream. And yeah, with that said, being Kita's family of teacher's pet sounds like fun. Very. Hello. Listen. You're better than a pet. You mean more to me than a pet. But that does not remove the title from your name. Deers do like their pets. It's true. I'm petting this deer right here. So chat, start me off. Give me something to look into. Abois. 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 Those are the kind of cute noises that I love from you. The deers are in control. I'm so in control. You don't even know it. What are we looking into? Give me a topic. Give me anything. Give me a name. Give me a You want deer? You want a deer? Okay, we will look up deer. The deer. Gosh. These are good pictures. These are good deer. Hi, Spiky. Hello. Welcome. How are you? Hope you're well. We're just about to learn about deer. We're just reading in about deer. My goodness, my throat. I need to start warming my throat up more. Oh dear. And how are you, Spiky? I hope all is well with the doggo. A deer, or true deer, is a hoofed ruminant ungulate from the family Cervidae. Cervidae are divided into subfamilies, Cervinae, which include, among others, the muntjac. I don't know what a muntjac is, so already I see a link I want to click. Elk, red deer. Red deer! Hey, I'm a red deer. I'm a red deer. That's me. Kita is a red deer. Very smooth day at work. Weekend for me. Can stream for longer today, and I got to pick up Noodle tomorrow evening. So tomorrow it's cleaning house day. Oh, you and Noodle are hanging. That's very cute. I hope you have fun, and best of luck with the stream, the clean, and the Noodle. Hell yeah. There's like 7 of you? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get a flight. I'm gonna come over. I'll make it 8. Well, I'll make it 17. I'm a deer. I never looked into what deer species I would be specifically. I did. I'm gonna... Very quickly... Already we're sidestepping. Hell yeah. We got deer. Is one of the largest deer species. A male red deer is called a stag or hart, and a female is called a doe or hind. My doe, my deer, my female deer. Red deer inhabits most of Europe, the Caucasus Mountains region, Anatolia, ooh, and parts of Western Asia. It also inhabits the Atlas Mountains of northern Africa, being the only living species of deer to inhabit Africa. Red deer have been introduced to other areas including Australia, New Zealand, the United States, Canada, Peru, Uruguay, Chile, and Argentina. In many parts of the world, the meat, venison, from red deer is used as a food source. Genetic evidence indicates that the red deer, as traditionally defined, is a species group rather than a single species, though exactly how many species the group includes remains disputed. The ancestors of the red deer probably originated in Central Asia. I have never had venison. It's always been slightly too pricey for me to try. And there's something to be said about cannibalism, but... So that's the red deer, but we're back onto the main deers. I've had venison. Oh, of course you had. Of course you have. Of course you have, Mike. I'm not saying or inferring anything about that. However, you've eaten. Oh, I'm sure. The musk deer of Asia and the chevrotines of Chevrotine? Whoa! Mouse deers! Your school sometimes does venison? Jesus. That is very interesting. Look at that. Look at that. Chevrotine, or mouse deer, are small, even-toed ungulates that make up the family Tragulidae, and are the only living members of the infraorder Tragulina. The 10 extant species are placed in 3 genera, but several species are also known only from fossils. Oh, these are ancient creatures. Cool. Hi, Rex. Oh, pet this Rex right back for me. Hi, Rex. Hope you're well. Deer appear in art from Paleolithic cave paintings onwards, and they have played a role in mythology, religion, and literature throughout history, as well as heraldry, such as red deer that appear in the coat of arms of a land. Ooh. Their economic importance includes the use of their meat as venison, their skins as soft, strong buckskin, and their antlers as handles for knives. Deer hunting has been a popular activity since the Middle Ages and remains a resource for many families today. I'm not going to read every single bit, by the way. Now this is important. Now this is important. Now this is important stuff. We got the white-tailed deer, the mule deer, the black-tailed deer, the elk, and the red deer. That's important. That's important. Look, I may be classy, but a tail is still good. Deer constitute the second most diverse family of Artiodactyla after bovids. Though of a similar build, deer are strongly distinguished from antelopes by their antlers, which are temporary and regularly regrown, unlike the permanent horns of bovids. Characteristics typical of deer include long, powerful legs, a diminutive tail, and long ears. Deer exhibit a broad variation in physical proportions. The largest extant deer is the moose, which is nearly 2.6 meters tall and weighs up to 800 kilograms. Only 800 kilograms? That is weird to think about. That I sell products in my store which weigh more than a moose. I see, I see. Where's the tail call out? That's a scam. You can just call me without it. That's okay. My tail, long, strong, wagging. Your tail, diminutive, small, also wagging. Right, that's you're staying behind after class. That's I'm sorry, you're staying behind. For those comments, I'm going to do something about that. All male deers have antlers, with the exception of the water deer, in which males have long tusk-like canines that reach below the lower jaw. I want to learn about water deer. Whoa! Oh, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. Look at these. Whoa. I want. Okay, how do I go back, please? There we go. Big teethers. Big teethers. The water deer is a small species native to Korea and China. Its prominent tusks, similar to those of musk deer, oh, that's a cursed fucking deer, have led to both subspecies being colloquially named vampire deer in English-speaking areas, to which they have been imported. It was first described to the Western world by Robert Swinhoe in 1870. Who's Robert Swinhoe? And it begins. And now you see the name of the game. Robert Swinhoe was an English diplomat and naturalist who worked as a consul of the Qing-era Taiwan, then known to Westerners as Formosa. Whoa. Unrelated, but Kita, I have a Halloween costume idea for you. Oh yeah? Would it happen to involve those dollar store vampire fangs? A deer with fangs is a fun concept, considering we have flat teeth. He catalogued many Southeast Asian birds, and several, such as Swinhoe's pheasant, are named after him. Oh, imagine imagine being born in the time of exploration. Would be fucking cool. Swinhoe was born in colonial-era Kolkata, then known as Calcutta, where his father, who came from a Northumberland family, was a lawyer. There is no clear record of the date of his arrival in England, but it is known he attended the University of London. And in 1854, joined the China Consular Corps. He was stationed to the remote part of Amoy, some 300 miles to the northeast of Hong Kong, in 1855. While at this port, he not only mastered the Chinese language, both official Mandarin and the local Amoy dialect, but he also initiated a detailed and authoritative understanding of the ornithology of Eastern China. In March 1856, Swinhoe made an adventurous visit to the camphor districts of southwestern Taiwan on board the Lorca, a hybrid vessel utilizing a European hull and Chinese rigging. I'm going to learn about the Lorca next. Whether this was an official or a personal visit is unknown, but he made mention of it on several occasions for the rest of his published career. While at Amoy, he courted and married Christina Stronach, the daughter of a Scottish missionary. Alright. Technically, we might be reaching the beginning of space exploration, and it's kind of exciting. That is exciting. Space is very fascinating, and I love space. Space fascinates me greatly. We can learn about space at some point. Let's see. At a young age, he had been interested in birds and made a small collection of British birds' nests and eggs. He corresponded with Henry Stevenson. Henry Stevenson does not get a Wikipedia entry. I'm sorry, Henry Stevenson. Watching Interstellar with you and geeking out about it was so much fun. Oh, it was so cute watching you go from like a little nerdy to like fully animated, and like the deep talk, which came about like gargantua and black holes and things like that. It was absolutely adorable. It was such a treat. And I absolutely want more of that. Hi, Avon. Hello. Welcome in. Oh. P.L. Schlater described him as one of the most industrious and successful exploring naturalists that has ever lived. And after his death, A.R. Wallace wrote, due to Mr. Swinhoe's own exertions, there is probably no part of the world, if we accept Europe, North America, and British India, of whose warm-blooded vertebrates we possess fuller or more accurate knowledge than we do of the coast districts of China and its islands. Wow. Exposing you to small black holes to immunize you against big black holes. Listen, I will just put you right on the edge of the event horizon, just to give you like exposure therapy, you know? Let me expose you to the might of a fucking black hole. And hi, Azzy. I hope you are well, and I hope you had a good birthday. Do that to me. You want to be exposed? Okay. This is the exposure I'm paying artists in. Yeah. Okay, so that's Robert Swinhoe. That's pretty interesting. I want to see time dilating. Same. It's literally impossible. It is impossible to see... Well, currently impossible. Very. Currently impossible. Maybe we will one day get there. Thank you, Robert Swinhoe. Let's learn about the Lorca. Oh, it's one of these boats. Imagine being named a junk. Imagine you're like a pioneer of a ship and you get called a junk. Leave the poor ship alone. Right? So a Lorca is a type of sailing vessel having a junk rig and a Cantonese or other Chinese style batten sails, or a Portuguese or other European style hull. The hull structure made the Lorca faster and able to carry more cargo than the normal junk. The advantage of my junk was in its ease of handling and resulting reduced crewing requirement, together with its relatively low cost of construction. Owing to its simplicity, it was also easier to repair. Lorcas were made locally of camphor or teak, and generally were 30 to 150 tons burthen. Listen. I may be sophisticated, but I'm not against a joke when it's right there in my face. If you're gonna wave my junk in my face, I'm gonna talk about it. This type of vessel was developed around 1550 in Macau, then a Portuguese colony in China. This hybrid type of vessel sailed faster than traditional Eastern ships. British merchants began to use Lorcas in Chinese waters after the First Opium War. I'm going to learn about the First Opium War. I'm learning so much. None of this will be retained, but in 5 years, when somebody asks me about the First Opium War, I will know exactly what to say. Also known as the Anglo-Chinese War, was a series of military engagements fought between the British Empire and the Chinese Qing dynasty between 1839 and 1842. The immediate issue was the Chinese enforcement of their ban on the opium trade by seizing private opium stocks from mainly British merchants at Guangzhou, then named Canton, and threatening to impose the death penalty for future offenders. I joined the stream and we're talking about the First Opium War. Hello, Pascal. Are you an expert on the Opium War? Despite the opium ban, the British government supported the merchants' demand for compensation for seized goods and insisted on the principle of free trade and equal diplomatic recognition with China. Opium was Britain's single most profitable commodity trade of the 19th century. After months of tension between the two states, the Royal Navy launched an expedition in June 1840, which ultimately defeated the Chinese using technologically superior ships and weapons by August 1842. I'm an expert on opium, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl, and that's all you typed, and now I have to ban you forever. That's a shame. I believe you. The British then imposed the Treaty of Nanking, which forced China to increase foreign trade, give compensation, and cede Hong Kong Island to the British. What a trade-off. Consequently, the opium trade continued in China. 20th century nationalists considered 1839 the start of a century of humiliation, and many historians consider it the beginning of modern Chinese history. For the better. Pascal, I'm going to need you to take that back. Your presence is a welcome sight by a lot of people, and your support here does not go unnoticed. Please give yourself some self-respect. That's my friend you're talking about. Even if you do know a lot about opium, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. In the 18th century, the European demand for Chinese luxury goods, particularly silk, porcelain, and tea, created a trade imbalance between China and Britain. European silver flowed into China throughout the Canton system, which confined incoming foreign trade to the southern port city of Guangzhou. To counter this imbalance, the British East India Company began to grow opium in Bengal and allowed private British merchants to sell opium to Chinese smugglers for illegal sale in China. The influx of narcotics reversed the Chinese trade surplus and increased the numbers of opium addicts inside the country, outcomes that seriously worried Chinese officials. I see. Senior government officials within the country have been shown to be colluding against the imperial ban due to stocks of opium in European warehouses and clear view being ignored. In 1839, the Daoguang Emperor, rejecting proposals to legalize and tax opium, appointed Viceroy of Hukuang, Lin Zexu. Look at you, powerful figure. To go into Guangzhou to halt the opium trade completely. Lin wrote an open letter to Queen Victoria appealing to her moral responsibility to stop the opium trade, although she never received it. Huh. I wonder where that got to. I wonder who sabotaged that. Lin then resorted to using force in the Western Merchants' Enclave. Interesting. Oh my god, there's a lot more here than I thought. Should we learn about opium? Opium as a medicinal ingredient was documented in Chinese texts as early as the Tang Dynasty, which was 617 to 907. Whoa. As with India, opium, then limited by distance to a dried powder, often drunk with tea or water, was introduced to China and Southeast Asia by Arab merchants. The Ming Dynasty banned tobacco as a decadent good in 1640, and opium was seen as a similarly minor issue. The first restrictions of opium were passed by the king in 1729 when Madak a substance made from powdered opium blended with tobacco, was banned. Ooh, I want to learn about Madak. Blend of opium and tobacco in 16th and 17th China. It emerged in southern coastal areas in the first half of the 17th century. In the last quarter of the 18th century, Madak was phased out by raw opium. The prohibition of Madak in 1729 may have been a contributing factor to the increase in popularity of smoking pure opium. Hell yeah! Opium! I like different fantasy names for opium. Opium just always reminds me that despite barely containing any opioids, poppy seeds are banned in a lot of countries. Yeah. Yeah. Raw opium was introduced in China by Arab merchants. Rather than taking bitter raw opium orally, the Chinese attempted smoking opium mixed with other substances. According to Dickert et al., smoking opium blended with tobacco was introduced in China by the Dutch traders. Chinese hemp and herbs, boiling the mix in pans and finally mixing with tobacco. It was smoked in bamboo pipes with coir fiber filter. What's coir? I'm gonna look. Okay. The new addiction was limited to coastal territories around Taiwan Strait. Further spread was hampered by the civil war that accompanied the fall of the Ming Dynasty. The new Qing Dynasty government was not aware of Madak until 1683. Huh. Smoking dens where people congregated at night were deemed as dangerous as dangerous as heretical cults and political conspiracies. Wow. Interesting. Anyway, here's Koya. I love doing these rabbit holes. Bah. Why? Okay. My audio has desynced again. This is happening way too much. This is worrying. Give me a second. Budding. Badoop. There we go. There we go. I think it might just be dying. Can you spread some opium on my sandwich bread? You got it. You got it. Yeah, my audio deck is struggling. It's been dying for a while now. I think it's on its way out. It's lasted me 2 years though, so I gotta give it credit. Anyway, where were we? Koya. Koya, also called coconut fiber, is a natural fiber extracted from the outer husk of coconut and is used in products such as floor mats, doormats, brushes, and mattresses. Koya is a fibrous material found between the hard internal shell and the outer coat of a coconut. Other uses of brown koya are in upholstery padding, sacking, and horticulture. White koya is used for making finer brushes, string, rope, and fishing nets. It has the advantage of not sinking, so it can be used in long lengths in deep water. Koya must not be confused with koya pith, which is the powdery and spongy material resulting in the processing of coir fiber. Coir fiber is locally named copra in some countries, adding to confusion. Pith is chemically similar to coir but contains much shorter fibers. The name cocoa peat may refer either to coir or the pith, or a mixture, as both have good water-retaining properties as a substitute for peat. Good old peat. Consider the coconut. Consider its tree. We use every part of the coconut, and that's all we need. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Whoa. That looks nice. That's Senate. Very nice. The name coir originally comes from the Tamil, and later the Malayalam. The Malayalam word for cord or rope. Ropes and cordage have been made from coconut fiber since ancient times. The Austronesian people who first domesticated coconuts. We put the lime in the coconut. We also shake it all up. No, it's drink it up. It's... I don't know, I just know that that song is in Alan Wake, and I think that's funny. Later, Indian and Arab navigators who sailed the seas to Malaya, China, and the Persian Gulf centuries ago also used coir for their ship ropes. That's very interesting. The coir industry in the UK was recorded before the second half of the 19th century. During 1840, Captain Widely, in cooperation with Captain Logan and Thomas Trelaw, founded the known carpet firms of Trelaw and Sons in Ludgate Hill for the manufacture of coir. Wow. The coconut nut is a giant nut. It's a giant cocoa. Citation needed. Oh, I'll cite you. Green coconuts harvested at about 6 to 12 months on the palm contain pliable white fibers, just like us. Brown fiber is instead obtained by harvesting fully mature coconuts when the nutritious layer surrounding the seed is ready to be processed into copra and desiccated coconut. Ah, I love a good desiccation. The immature husks are suspended in a river or water-filled pit for up to 10 months. During this time, microorganisms break down the plant tissue surrounding the fiber to loosen them, a process known as retting. Now I want a pina colada. Oh, I love white fiber. I don't like coconut. That is good to know. I will try and remember that. I also I'm not a huge fan of coconut. I used to absolutely abhor it. Nowadays, I don't mind it, but I would rather have, like, anything else. Tell me about retting. Retting is a process employing the actions of microorganisms and moisture on plants to dissolve or rot away much of the cellular tissues and pectins surrounding bast fiber bundles, facilitating the separation of the fiber from the stem. It is used in the production of linen for flax stalks and coir from coconut husks. Hey, we've semi-looped. Cool. Now tell me about pectins. I wish I could swallow an entire coconut. As the teacher, I must implore that you do not try this. Please do not try that. Pectin is a heteropolysaccharide. A heteropolysaccharide. A structural polymorph. Hetero and poly? Nice. Mateo. A structural polymer contained in the primary lamella, in the middle lamella, and in the cell walls of terrestrial plants. The principal chemical component of pectin is galacturonic acid. Galacturonic. That sounds made up. Which was isolated and described by Henry Braconnot. Who's Henry Braconnot? Swallowing a whole coconut? Mike. Are you the coconut? Henry Braconnot was a French chemist and a pharmacist. He was born in Commercy, his father being a council at the local parliament. At the death of his father in 1787, Henry began his instruction in an elementary school in Commercy, and then with private teachers. At 13, he was placed as apprentice in a pharmacy in Nancy, where he learned and practiced pharmacy, chemistry, and botany. At 15, he left Nancy for a military service in a hospital in Strasbourg. He discovered chitin. Oh, there's just two things called chitin. Or chitin. Shitten? Shite. From 1802 to his death, he lived in Nancy, where he was named in 1807 as director of the Botanical Garden and member of the Scientific Academy of the town. He worked as a chemist until his death, mainly on plant chemistry. He made several research on plant assimilation, organic acids, plant composition, and fats. He also made minor contributions to mineralogy and hydrology. It's chitin? Yeah, that's what I said, shitten. In the fat domain, Braconnot described in 1815 that fats are formed of a solid part and an oily compound, their consistency resulting from the proportions of the two parts. This conclusion was obtained after pressing fats in the cold between filter papers. Unfortunately, he did not observe its acid properties, which led Chevreul to discover in 1820 stearic acid. The fat domain is that's where furries go on, Very. Finish that thought. Share with the class. I've just had an idea. Okay, cool. Idea written down. In the domain of plant chemistry, Braconnot contributed to the isolation and description of several compounds, most of which were shown later to be a mixture of simpler products. Among others, Braconnot discovered gallic and elagic acid, and pyrogallic acid, or pyrogallic acid. I bet it's pyrogallic. Which later enabled the development of photography. Photography. He also discovered in 1811 chitin in mushrooms, the earliest known polysaccharide. In 1819, He published a memoir describing the first time the conversion of wood, straw, or cotton into a sugar by a sulfuric acid treatment. The name glucose was proposed 24 years later by Dumas for a sugar similarly obtained from starch, cellulose, or honey. By the same acid process, Brackenot obtained a gelatin sugar, named later glycol, now glycine. Photography. E. From gelatin and leucine from muscle fibers. Furthermore, reacting concentrated nitric acid on wood or cotton, Brackenot obtained a flammable product, xylidine. Page does not exist. Wow. Also, I forgot to turn the thing off again. Hold on. Off. There we go. This substance may be considered as the first polymer or plastic material created by a chemist. Huh. It's pretty cool. I'm going to look up chitin. Chitin is a long-chain polymer of N-acetylglucosamine. Acetylglucosamine, an amide derivative of glucose. I love reading words for the first time. I genuinely really love reading complex words for the first time. I think that's so cool. Chitin is the second most abundant polysaccharide in nature, behind only cellulose. An estimated 1 billion tons of chitin are produced each year in the biosphere. It is a primary component of cell walls and fungi, especially filamentous and mushroom-forming fungi. The exoskeletons of arthropods, such as crustaceans and insects. The radulae, cephalopod beaks, and gladiole of mollusks, the gladiae, and in some nematodes and diatoms. It is also synthesized by at least some fish and less amphibians. Commercially, chitin is extracted from the shells of crabs, shrimps, shellfish, and lobsters, which are major byproducts of the seafood industry. The structure of chitin is comparable to cellulose, forming crystalline nanofibrils or whiskers. It is functionally comparable to the protein keratin. Chitin is proved useful for several medicinal, industrial, and biotechnological purposes. Very cool. That is what it looks. That is what it looks. The wing is composed of chitin. We can learn about the French next. Nope. Ah, gross. It's a cicada. Emerges from its nymphal exoskeleton. The shed exoskeleton is mostly modified chitin, sclerotin. I'm going to learn about sclerotin. Sclerotin is a component of the cuticle of various arthropoda, most familiarly insects. It is formed by cross-linking members of particular classes of protein molecules, a biochemical process called sclerotization, a form of tanning in which quinones are enzymatically introduced into the cuticle and react with terminal and lysine-related amino groups to the proteins to form strong links between the molecules. The resulting material greatly increases the rigidity of an insect's chitinous exoskeleton, which is otherwise fairly soft. Cuticle sounds funny, more like cutie pie, says Mateo. Is Mateo a cutie pie? Yes. Eat that bug. I'm gonna eat... I mean, I'm a deer. I think deer eat bugs. Mateo is cute. As it matures, freshly formed sclerotin becomes a hard, horn-like substance with a range of yellow-brown colors. As animals adapted to life on land, increasingly diverse needs for organic stiffening components arose. Among the invertebrates, this need was met largely by the development of sclerotins and other cross-linked proteins that allowed insects to adapt to existence on the land, and later to develop wings. Deer are opportunists. They will eat meat and insects when given the chance. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will.
A caterpillar may have sclerotized jaws, head, capsule, and legs, with the rest of the body soft and membranous. Sclerotized cuticle is formed by cross-linking the various... Yeah, we've read this 3 times now. In some of the Apterogota, however, at least some of the cross-linking is by disulfide bonds, reminiscent of protein cross-linking in the formation of keratin. This has led many authors to refer to such cross-linked proteins in invertebrates as keratin, but modern analysis have shown that the term is inappropriate. Let's learn about keratin. Keratin looks fucking terrifying. That's a cell. That is so weird. That is so weird. That is so strange. It looks like it's from a horror, like... It looks like a horror thing. Oh look, it's an impala. We better tame it. Keratin is one of a family of structural fibrous proteins, also known as scleroproteins. It is the key structural material making up scales, hairs, nails, feathers, horns, cleaves, and hooves. And the outer layer of skin in vertebrates. Yo, I've got hooves. I got hoofies. Keratin also protects epithelial cells from damage or stress. Keratin is extremely insoluble in water and organic solvents. Keratin monomers assemble into bundles to form intermediate filaments, which are tough and form strong, unmineralized epidermal appendages found in reptiles, birds, amphibians, and mammals. Excessive keratinization participate in fortification of certain tissues, such as in horns of cattle and rhinos, and armadillos' osteoderm. The only other biological matter known to approximate the toughness of keratinized tissue is chitin. I like my appendages unmineralized personally. I don't know. I personally love the mineralized appendage. Spider silk is classified as keratin, although production of the protein may have evolved independently of the process of vertebrates. That's very interesting. That's a good picture. That's so cute. That is a deer looking at spider web. There is keratin and keratin. And there's a fly. That's really cool. There's a lot of flies actually. That's a fly and that's a fly. Eats the spider and walks away. Oh, thank you, Yoon. I don't like spiders, so thank you. Alpha keratins are found in all vertebrates. They form the hair and the slime threads of hagfish. Alright, we're going to look up hagfish next. Hagfish of the class Myxini, also known as Hyperotreti, are eel-shaped jawless fish, or occasionally called slime eels. Hagfish are the only known living animals that have a skull but no vertebral column. Although they do have rudimentary vertebrae. Hagfish are marine predators and scavengers that can defend themselves against other large predators by releasing copious amounts of slime and mucus glands in their skin. I know many people who would enjoy this. One of them is me. Oh yeah, look at it. Ugh. Can we get to the woohoo fish from here? Maybe. Although their exact relationship to the other living group of jawless fish, the lampreys, was long the subject of controversy. Genetic evidence suggests the hagfish and lampreys are more closely related to each other than to jawed vertebrates, thus forming the superclass Cyclostomi. The oldest known stem group hagfish are known as late Carboniferous, around 310 million years ago. Modern representatives first being recorded in the mid-Cretaceous, around 100 million. Carboniferous was cool. Cool. Hagfish have elongated, eel-like bodies and paddle-like tails. Their skin is naked and covers the body like a loosely fitting sock. That's disgusting. That's actually very gross. They are generally a dull pink color and look quite worm-like. Naked sock. They have cartilaginous skulls, although the part surrounding the brain is composed primarily of a fibrous sheath. And tooth-like structures composed of keratin. Colors depend on the species, ranging from pink to blue-gray, and black or white spots may be present. Eyes are simple eye spots, not lensed eyes that can resolve images. Hagfish have no true fins and have 6 or 8 barbels around the mouth and a single nostril. Instead of vertically articulating jaws like Gnathostomata, they have a pair of horizontally moving structures with tooth-like projections for pulling off food. Damn. They have a pair... the mouth of the hagfish has 2 pairs of horny, comb-shaped teeth of a cartilaginous plate that protracts and retracts. These teeth are used to grasp food and draw it towards the pharynx. Fish are fucking insane. Fish are crazy. Its skin is attached to the body only along the center ridge of the back and at the slime glands, and is filled with close to a third of the body's blood volume, giving the impression of a blood-filled sac. It is assumed this is an adaptation to survive predator attacks. The Atlantic hagfish and the Pacific hagfish differ in that the latter has muscle fibers embedded in the skin. The resting position of the Pacific hagfish tends to be coiled, while that of the Atlantic hagfish is stretched. Ew. It's very gross. Now this is what I'm curious about. Ugh. It looks like a penis. Hagfish can exude copious quantities of milky and fibrous slime or mucus from specialized slime glands. Oh. When released in seawater, the slime expands to 10,000 times its original size in 0.4 seconds. The slime that hagfish excrete has very thin fibers that make it more durable and retentive than the slime excreted by other animals. It's kind of doing something to me. The fibers are made of proteins and also make the slime flexible. If they are caught by a predator, they can quickly release a large amount of slime to escape. If they remain captured, they can tie themselves in an overhand knot and work their way from the head to the tail of the animal, scraping off the slime and freeing themselves from their capture. Rheological investigation showed that the hagfish slime viscosity increases in elongational flow, which favors gill clogging of suction-feeding fish. Damn. While its viscosity decreases in shear, which facilitates scraping off the slime of the traveling knot. Huh. I looked up hagfish slime on YouTube. It is indeed a lot of slime. We're gonna have a quick look. Let's go. Release your slime. Release your slime. Yoink. Stop fondling the slime. Whoa! 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 That's so... Whoa! That's... brain. Huh. Cool. Does anyone want to make... Wow, interesting. Hi, Lemmy. That's a cat. That was so much slime. So that's what was in the jar? Oh, God. Anyone got a hagfish sonar that they want to get an art piece with me? The hagfish fondler intimidates me. I don't blame you. The protein that make up its slime filaments is under investigation as an alternative to spider silk for use in applications such as body armor. These alpha-keratin proteins in hagfish slime transform into an ahelical structure to a stiffer B-sheet structure when stretched. With combined draw processing and chemical cross-linking, recombinant slime keratin turns into a very strong fiber with an elastic modulus reaching 20 GPa. Aww, Pacific hagfish trying to hide under a rock. You're doing so well. Why do you look so phallic? Why does everything in the ocean look phallic? Anyway, tell me about B-sheet. The peanuts it's trying to hide. Beta sheets. And I say beta, although it's technically beta. It's a common motif in the regular protein secondary structure. Beta sheets consist of beta strands, connected laterally by at least 2 or 3 backbone hydrogen bonds, forming a generally twisted pleated sheet. A B strand is a stretch of polypeptide chain, typically 3 to 10 amino acids long, with backbone in an extended conformation. The supramolecular association of B sheets has been implicated in the formation of the fibrils and protein aggregates observed in amyloidosis, Alzheimer's disease, and proteinopathies. Interesting. You can add that as a quote, Mateo. I said it. Those are words that I said. The first B-sheet structure was proposed by William Astbury in the 1930s. Just because it's a Keto stream doesn't mean I'm not going to say some stupid shit. He proposed the idea of hydrogen bonding between the peptide bonds of parallel or anti-parallel extended B strands. However, Astbury did not have the necessary data on the bond geometry of the amino acids in order to build accurate models, especially since he did not then know what a peptide bond was planar. A refined version was proposed by Linus Pauling and Robert Corey in 1951. Their model incorporated the planarity of the peptide bond, which they previously explained as resulting from ketoenol tautomerization. Do you think Fubar is done weeding? Hey Fubar, are you done weeding? Fubar? Fubar? Hey Fubar. Back of the class. Fubar, are you done weeding? Damn. Guess not. In chemistry, tautomers are structural isomers, constitutional isomers, or of chemical compounds that readily interconvert. We're going to interconvert. I hope that's okay. The chemical reaction interconverting the two is called tautomerization. This conversion commonly results from the relocation of a hydrogen atom within the compound. The phenomenon of tautomerization is called tautomerism, also called desmotropism. Cool. Tautomerism is, for example, relevant to the behavior of amino acids and nucleic acids, two of the fundamental building blocks of life. Care should be taken not to confuse tautomers with depictions of contributing structures in chemical resonance. Tautomers are distinct chemical species that can be distinguished by their differing atomic connectivities, molecular geometries, and physicochemical and spectroscopic properties, where resonance forms are merely alternative Lewis structure, the valence bond theory, depictions of a single chemical species, whose true structure is a quantum superposition, essentially the average of the idealized hypothetical geometries implied by these resonance forms. You're confuzzled? You don't get this? This is what they teach babies. Me when I lack damn. Me when I lack damn. Am I right? What's a Lewis structure? It's kind of cool that we've gone from like a little bit of everywhere now. We started on deer. Have you ever seen a fruit bat? There is only one brain cell floating around like a DVD screensaver. Aww. I'm gonna shove a second brain cell into there and make you use it. Lewis structures, also called Lewis dot formulas, Lewis dot structures, electron dot structures, or Lewis electron dot structures. LEDs. Wow, what is wrong with me today? Jesus. Diagrams that show the bonding between atoms of a molecule as well as the lone pairs of electrons that may exist in the molecule. Introduced by Gilbert N. Lewis in his 1916 article, The Atom and the Molecule, a Lewis structure could be drawn for any covalently bonded molecule. I was never interested in this level of science. I didn't care about this kind of science. I didn't care about chemistry or physics. I cared about biology. Biology was fun. Gilbert Newton Lewis was an American physical chemist and a dean at the College of Chemistry at University of California, Berkeley. Lewis was best known for his discovery of the covalent bond and his concept of electron pairs. Other contributions to valence bond theory have shaped modern theories of chemical bonding. Biology, eh? You want to study some together? Sure. I've got some textbooks about like the etymology behind the food chain and things like that. We can study if you need to study theory. I'm more than happy to. I'll get some flashcards. It'll be great. Lewis also researched on relativity in quantum physics, and in 1926 he coined the term photon for the smallest unit of radiant energy. Ooh. Yeah, he looks like a Gilbert. After receiving his PhD in chemistry, studying abroad in Germany and the Philippines, he moved to California in 1912 to teach chemistry at the University of California, where he became the dean of the College of Chemistry and spent the rest of his life. As the professor, he incorporated thermodynamic principles into the chemistry curriculum and reformed chemical thermodynamics with a mathematically rigorous manner accessible to ordinary chemists. He began measuring the free energy values related to several chemical processes. In 1816, he also proposed his theory of bonding and added information about electrons in the periodic table of the chemical elements. If you include FUBAR, you can learn about microbiology too. And gastronomy. And gastronomy as well. Lewis worked with hydrogen and managed to purify a sample of heavy water. What is heavy water? Damn! Kirby, is that you? Oh, why are you over there? That is some heavy water. God damn. Heavy water, deuterium oxide, is a form of water in which hydrogen atoms are all deuterium, rather than the common hydrogen one, also called protium, that makes up most of the hydrogen in normal water. The presence of the heavier isotope gives the water different nuclear properties, and the increase in mass gives it slightly different physical and chemical properties when compared to normal water. DOD indeed. Heavy water means we are one step away from nuclear science. Damn. Deuterium is a heavy hydrogen isotope. Heavy water contains deuterium atoms and is used in nuclear reactors. Semi-heavy water is more common than pure heavy water, while heavy oxygen water is denser but lacks unique properties. Tritiated water is reactive due to its tritium content, or tritium. What's tritium? Oh, it's pretty is what it is. Heavy water is less dissociated at a given temperature, and it does not have the slightly blue color of regular water. It can taste slightly sweeter than regular water, though not to a significant degree. Heavy water affects biological systems by altering enzymes, hydrogen bonds, and cell division in eukaryotes. It can be lethal to multicellular organisms at concentrations over 50%. However, some prokaryotes, like bacteria, can survive in a heavy hydrogen environment. Heavy water can be toxic to humans, but a large amount would be needed for poisoning to occur. Tell me about tritium. Tritium is a rare and radioactive isotope of hydrogen with a half-life of 12.33 years. The tritium nucleus contains 1 proton and 2 neutrons, whereas the nucleus of the common isotope hydrogen contains 1 proton and no neutrons. Oh, this is so much science. Can we move away from science? Heavy water shipments is how the Allied forces discovered nuclear research areas during World War II. Whoa! That's cool. Naturally occurring tritium is extremely rare on Earth. The atmosphere has only trace amounts formed by the interaction of its gases with cosmic rays. It can be produced artificially by irradiation of lithium or lithium-bearing ceramic pebbles in a nuclear reactor. All this chemistry talk makes me remember how much I want some pyrite as decoration. It'll just look so fake. Tell you what also looks fake? Bismuth. Bismuth is my favorite mineral, and it just does not look accurate. Did you know that the rainbow color of bismuth is not its natural color? That is the oxidized state. Fool's gold is very cool. Hold on. Unoxidized bismuth. This is bismuth. That is what bismuth looks like before it becomes oxidized, and then it oxidizes into this. It's so cool. Bismuth is the chaotic form. Pyrite is the orderly form. Oh, I like pyrite. Oh yeah, that's right. Look at it. It looks. Huh? Yeah, it is. Do you know what it reminds me of? And Very, you're gonna agree. It reminds me of the oldest house from Control. It's so interesting that this is orderly, whereas bismuth is insane. It's the oldest house levels. Yeah. Pyrite and bismuth. Very cool. Yeah, I want some bismuth. I really want some bismuth. God, look at it. It looks so cool. Bismuth is like the regular oldest house. Amethyst geode. I do like amethyst. Do you meant pyrite? There you go. Pyrite is like the irregular oldest house. Bismuth is when the hiss gets to it. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, Very, did you hear that FBC Firewall or Firebreak is closer to production? The co-op game set in the Control universe. Pretty cool. Amethyst geode. You're an amethyst geode. The one we're going to play a load of? Oh, absolutely, yes. Yes, absolutely. Because it's more Control content. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wine. Let's go. Let's go. We got to the wine. We got to wine. I love wine. Wine is great. A $30 bottle. You don't just chug a lug. You don't just chug a lug a $30 bottle of wine, mate. If you can't tell, the deer is slightly tired, and is struggling to maintain the formal composure that one tends to. I never said that. I never said I wanted a chug-a-lug. Oh, good stuff. Wine. You've never had wine? Oh, wine is wonderful. Wine is Keita's drink of choice. It's not the whole body's drink of choice, but Keita's drink, yes. Wine and cheese. Oh, red wine especially. Wine is an alcoholic drink made from fermented fruit. Yeast consumes the sugar in the fruit and converts it to ethanol and carbon dioxide, releasing heat in the process. Wine is often made from grapes, and the term wine generally refers to grape wine when used without any qualification. Even so, wine can be made from a variety of fruit crops, including plum, cherry, pomegranate, blueberry, currant, and elderberry. You don't like red wine? White and rosé are fine. Sangria in summer is fantastic. Sangria is nice. It's probably my least... I think I like rosé the least. White is passable. Red is my absolute favorite. I love how bitter red is. But also mead is a type of wine. I also don't drink alcohol. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Very smart of you. I do, however. Why, I'm drinking right now. It's not wine, though, unfortunately. Alas, it is still a work day tomorrow, so I cannot go and chug a lug. Wine has been produced for thousands of years. The earliest evidence of wine is from the present-day Georgia. Later, as Old World wine further developed viticulture techniques, Europe would encompass 3 of the largest wine-producing regions. The top 5 wine-producing countries of 2023 were Italy, France, Spain, the United States, is kind of surprising, and Chile. Wine has long played an important role in religion. Red wine is associated with blood by the ancient Egyptians, and was used by both the Greek cult of Dionysus and the Romans in their Bacchanalia. Judaism also incorporates it in the Kiddush, and Christianity in the Eucharist. Northern Cali is one huge vineyard. Oh, I did not know that. I genuinely did not know that. See, look how much I'm learning today. Egyptian, Greek, Roman, and Israeli wine cultures are still connected to these ancient roots. Similarly, the largest wine regions in Italy, Spain, and France have heritages in connection to sacramental wine. Viticulture traditions in the southwestern United States started with New Spain as Catholic friars and monks first produced the mission grape. The mission grape in New Mexico and California. A 2000 report by archaeologists indicates a possibility that grapes were mixed with rice to produce fermented drinks in ancient China in the early years of the 7th millennium before Common Era. Traces of wine have also been found in the Xinjiang in modern-day China, dating from the 2nd and 1st millennia before Common Era. The first modern wine industry in East Asia was Japanese wine, developed from 1874 after grapevines were brought back from Europe. That's so cool. The wines of Byblos were exported to Egypt during the Old Kingdom and then throughout the Mediterranean. Industrialized production of wine in ancient Greece began around 600 BCE. Spread across the Italian peninsula and to southern Gaul. The ancient Romans further increased the scale of wine production and trade networks, especially in Gaul around the time of the Gallic Wars. And many famous vineyards date from Roman occupation. The Romans discovered that burning sulfur candles inside empty wine vessels kept them fresh and free from a vinegar smell due to the antioxidant effects of sulfur dioxide. That's so cool. Have a good look, Mike. Enjoy dinner. In medieval Europe, Catholic monks grew grapes and made wine for the Eucharist. Tell me about the Eucharist. Eucharist is the name that Catholic Christians give to the sacrament by which, according to their belief, the body and blood of Christ are present in the bread and wine consecrated during the Catholic Eucharistic liturgy, generally known as the Mass. The definition of the Eucharist in the 1983 Code of Canon Law as a sacrament where Christ himself is contained, offered, and received. Hell yeah. I'd receive Christ. Points to the 3 aspects of the Eucharist according to Catholic theology: the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, Holy Communion, and the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass. The name Eucharist comes from the Greek word Eucharistia, which means thanksgiving, and which refers to the accounts of the Last Supper of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Corinthians, all of which narrate that Jesus gave thanks as he took the bread and the wine. Cool. Blessed Sacrament is a devotional term used in the Catholic Church to refer to the Eucharistic species. Consecrated hosts are kept in a tabernacle after Mass so that the Blessed Sacrament can be readily brought to the sick and dying outside the time of Mass. This also enables the devotional practice of Eucharistic adoration. Tell me about a tabernacle. Oh, blah. A tabernacle, or a sacrament house, is a fixed, locked box in which the Eucharist is stored as part of the reserved sacrament rite. Oh no, not religion. I find Christianity, in its basest form, very fascinating as like a story. All religion is fascinating when you read it as a fictional piece of work. I love the stories in the Bible, you know, in the Quran. Like, I left that club a few years ago. That's fair. That's very fair. I mean, I'm pagan. So, you know. As a former Catholic, I could not support that. That is fair. That is entirely valid. And I do not in any way believe in Christianity. Once again, I am a pagan. Hee. But I find the stories interesting. The stories of any religion I find very interesting. The reserved Eucharist is secured in the tabernacle for distribution at services. For use, we were on Dia. Do you remember when we started on Dia and now we're on a tabernacle? It's kind of cool, huh? I love Nordic mythology. That is the mythology that I follow. I am, you know what? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna break the cycle. And tell you about Asatru. Heathenry, the new religious movement. Asatru is the modern representation of Nordic mythology in paganistic belief. No central religious authority exists to impose a particular blah 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 blah. Where is this? Academics studying the religion have typically favored the terms heathenry and heathenism to describe it. I know, for the reason that these words are inclusive of all varieties of the movement. Oh, fair enough. Ragnarok is so metal. I love Ragnarok. It's so cool. These terms are also based on the word heathen, attested in the Gothic heathen, which is adopted by the Gothic Arian missionaries as the equivalent of both the Greek words Hellenes and ethikos. Further terms used from some academic contexts are contemporary Germanic paganism, Germanic neo-paganism. Where are such? Ragnarok technically has Vor. Yeah, it does. The Nordic mythology has a lot for a lot of people. Ask Odin how he got Sleipnir. Ask Odin where his 8-legged horse came from. Ask Loki anything. Another name for the religion is the Icelandic Asatru, which translates to as Aesir belief or loyalty to the Aesir. The Aesir being a subset of deities in Norse mythology. This is more commonly rendered as Asatru in North America, with practitioners being known as Asatrua. This term is favored by practitioners who focus on the Nordic deities of Scandinavia. However, it is problematic as many self-identified Asatrua worship entities other than the Aesir, such as the Vanir, Valkyries, Elves, and Dwarves. Although initially a popular term of designation among practitioners and academics, usage of Asatru has declined as the religion has aged. Norse mythology is fantastic. Is it Bruma? Is Bruma the cow who licks the salt of the cosmos? I think so. Most of the surviving mythology centers on the plights of the gods and their interaction with several other beings, such as the humanity and the Jotnar, many beings who may be friends, lovers, foes, or family members of the gods. I like that two wolves chase the moon and sun across the sky. That's so adorable. You're adorable. Yeah, Skull and Hati. They're the reasons the moon and sun rise and set. And that if they were to ever catch them, that is the beginning of Ragnarok, and then we all fucking die. The world is created from the flesh of the primordial being Ymir, and the first two humans are Usk and Embla. These worlds are foretold to be reborn after the events of Ragnarok. Tell me about the cow. Tell me about the cow. I will find the cow. I will find the cow. I'm right here. You don't have to look for the cow. I'm here. God, where is that gosh dang cow? Oh, what? Orthumbla. Yeah. Orthumbla is a primeval cow. The primordial frost Jotun Ymir fed upon her milk, and over the course of 3 days she licked away the salty rime rocks and revealed Buri, grandfather of the gods, and brothers Odin, Vili, and Ve. The creature is attested solely in the Prose Edda, composed in the 13th century by Icelander Snorri Sturluson. Scholars identify her as stemming from a variety of early stratum of Germanic mythology, ultimately belonging to a larger complex of primordial bovines or cow-associated goddesses. Yeah. Orthumbla licking the first of the giants free. Her name is generally accepted as meaning hornless cow rich in milk. Hey Pascal, are you called Orthumbla Because you're a hornless cow rich in milk. God of milk?
Ayo.
It's pretty cool. The primordial being Emir suckles at the udder of Orthumbla as she licks beauty out of the ice in a painting. Cool. Cool. Oh, well, gross. It's natural. I don't know what's wrong. What's wrong with a little teat sucking? Olden times were weird. Don't suck the cow. How else am I gonna become a big and strong giant? How else are the Jötnar gonna grow and be powerful? Unless they suckle at the god cow. Oh, I'm so EB. I'm so tired. This is fun to do, but this is a lot of reading. There's a lot of reading, a lot of staring at a screen. Go eep. Why don't you eep? Oh, Dante! Yeah, Dante Alighieri. Woohoo! Dante Alighieri, widely known mononymously as Dante, was an Italian poet, writer, and philosopher. The Divine Comedy is so good. It is so good. It is very good. His Divine Comedy, originally called Commedia, and later christened Divina. Boccaccio. It's hellish. 26. Oh my goodness. It's widely considered one of the most important poems of the Middle Ages and the greatest literary work of the Italian language. Sai parlare un po' di italiano? I tried learning Italian. That is all I got to learn. That is all that I retained from learning Italian. Bellissimo. Found a £154 amethyst geode for sale on eBay. Free shipping.
Ooh.
Yeah, but how much is that, I wonder? Dante was instrumental in establishing the literature of Italy and is considered to be among the country's national poets and the Western world's greatest literary icons. His depictions of hell, purgatory, and heaven provided inspiration for the larger body of Western art and literature. He influenced English writers such as Geoffrey Chaucer, John Milton, and Alfred Tennyson, among many others. In addition, the first use of the interlocking three-line rhyme scheme, or the terza rima, is attributed to him. He is described as the father of the Italian language, and in Italy he is often referred to as Il Sommo Poeta, the supreme poet. Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio are also called the Tre Corone, the three crowns of Italian literature. That's so cool. I love the Italian language. I love listening to Italian. Italian is pretty. Italian does what French wishes it did. It's a very... Italian is such a romantic language, I think.
Bellissimo. Spanish
is very nice too. I'll admit, I slept on Spanish. I very much slept on it. I just have not heard a lot of it. But now that I hear more of it, I like it. I like it. Italian and German are probably my favorite languages. I've just given up on trying to learn German for a while because it was very difficult. Terzarima is a rhyming verse form. I don't understand why you like German. I like the way it sounds. I like how punchy it is. I like the way it feels in my mouth. I don't like English in a way of it's... I mean, I don't care about English because it's the only one I speak, so I'm like, whatever. But of learning another language, German feels very fun in my mouth. Was very demotivated after self-studying Spanish when going to Barcelona and then pretending not to understand me. I only found out later that Catalonian is rather different. Yes. Catalonian is very different. So they weren't pretending. But I get what you mean. I get that. I've never had a good brain for linguistics. My brain is not very good at retaining language other than my own. I like being able to speak German and understand it, but I don't find it a very pretty language. I don't think it's pretty, I think it's ruggedly handsome. You know? It has a very rugged charm to it, I think. But the terzarima is a rhyming verse form in which the poem or each poem section consists of tercets, with an interlocking three-line rhyme scheme. The last word of the second line in one tercet provides the rhyme for the first and third lines in the tercet that follows. So ABA, BCB, CDC. That is so cool. The poem or poem section may have any number of lines, not divisible by 3, but it ends with either a single line or a couplet, which repeats the rhyme of the middle line of the previous tercet. So YZ, YZ or YZYZZ. Kind of curious how Czech sounds to other people. You should speak Czech to me more. I like hearing your native tongue. It's very nice. It was nice when I visited Prague, hearing all the language around. Terzarima was invented early in the 14th century by the poet Dante for his narrative poem, The Divine Comedy, which he set in hendecasyllabic lines. In English, poets often use the iambic pentameter. I fucking hate the iambic pentameter. Danish sounds like I have a certain phallic object in my mouth whenever I speak. I mean... yeah. Iambic pentameter sucks. I fucking hated learning iambic pentameter. It was the hardest concept for me to learn when I did learn it, and then I never. It's why I don't like poetry. Tezorima is a challenging form for a poet, and it did not become common in the century following its invention. The form is especially challenging in languages that are inherently less rich in rhymes than Italian. Look, let's learn about the iambic pentameter. That is okay. Oh, this is gonna bring me back. I know I personally don't really like my language. Aw, but maybe I'm trying to learn it for you. You did this. Dutch sounds stupid, and I think it's hilarious. That's not a bad thing. I just think it's funny. Apple. I've now done this to 2 people, and I feel bad both times. I just want to say little things. I just want to say little things to you in your language. Like, I love you, you know? Which is probably something stupid like, in love with you. Dutch is a silly language. I tend to make fun of it and call it a vomit language, but I like how it sounds. I do not like how it's written, though. I don't like how it's written. I do like how it sounds. Ik hou van jou. There's an extra word there. Where did the extra word come from? The difference, the immediate difference that I've seen in Dutch to German for grammatical like structure is very interesting. Also, does that not make it the easiest language? Because every rule in grammar that we have has more exceptions than not. Yes, but then so does English. Pascal. Pascal is horribly wrong. Oh, what is happening? Oh no. English has the same issues with grammar. The biggest lie that I ever learned as a child was when I learned I before E except after C. That is fucking bullshit. The amount of words which have I after E in any sentence, and then also I before E even after C. It's like, ugh. Why make a rule and then not use it? It's because language evolves. Language evolves and takes on new meanings, but we cannot let go of old principles. Mateo, no. Okay. It's used in traditional English poetry and verse drama. The term describes the rhythm or meter established by the words in each line. Meter is measured in small groups of syllables called feet. Iambic indicates that the type of foot used is the iamb, which in English is composed of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. Bov. Bov. Hello, Meow Stick. Welcome. Pentameter indicates that each line has 5 metrical feet. Badum, 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 badum. That iambic pentameter. It all flows. Poetry is flowing, and I hate it. traditional poetry. Freeform is even more disgusting. I fucking hate poetry. Iambic pentameter is the most common meter in English poetry. It was first introduced into English by Chaucer in the 14th century on the basis of French and Italian models. It is used in several major English poetic forms, including blank verse, the heroic couplet, and some more traditionally rhymed stanza forms. William Shakespeare famously used iambic pentameter in his plays and sonnets, John Milton in his Paradise Lost, and William Wordsworth in The Prelude. I hated both German and English in school because we often had to analyze poetry. I didn't mind analyzing prose. I don't mind analyzing a lot of things. But poetry... I just don't like poetry. I say this. I do occasionally write poetry. But I don't like studying it. I am forever scarred from school because of it. An iambic foot is an unstressed syllable, so the rhythm can be written as da-dum. So it's da-dum, 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 da-dum. Straightforward examples of this rhythm can be heard in the opening line of William Shakespeare's Sonnet 12. When I do count the clock that tells the time. When I do count the clock that tells the time. When you say it, when you emphasize it, it becomes very apparent, and suddenly poetry is ruined, because it all sounds the same. To swell the gourd and plump the hazel shells. The Scansian. Blunt the knives and bend the forks. Kind of. The term iamb originally applied to the quantitative meter of classical poetry. The classical terms were adapted to describe the equivalent... Wait, can I read Sonnet 12? I want to read Sonnet 12. When I do count the clock that tells the time, and see the brave they sunk in hideous night, when I behold the violet past prime, and sable curls will silvered with white. Ugh. I did like Shakespeare though. Shakespeare's good. Pascal. Aw. When lofty trees I see barren of leaves, which erst from heat did canopy the herd, and some as green all girded up in sheaves, borne on the bier with white and bristly beard. When of thy beauty do I question make, that thou among the wastes of time must go, since sweets and beauties do themselves forsake, and die as fast as they see others grow. And nothing gainst time's scythe can make defence, save breed to brave him for when he takes thee hence. Furry? I'm actually a deer. I'm a real deer. I am a furry. Hello. Furries? Yes. Here? No way. There would never be furries here. This is definitely a furry-centric channel. But thank you for the follow. And thank you. Lego is the biggest tire company in the world. Do you know what's funny? Not the first time I've heard that sentence this week. That's very strange. It's very true. It's hilarious. I hope you're well, Robo Husky. Thank you again for the follow. Welcome on into the den. Wait, what? It's true, Mike. Lego is the biggest tire company in the world. A sonnet is a fixed poetic form with structure traditionally consisting of 14 lines, adhering to a set rhyming scheme. The term derives from the Italian word sonetto. Originating in 13th century Sicily, the sonnet was in time taken up by many European language areas, mainly to express romantic love at first. Hell yeah. Although eventually any subject was considered acceptable. Many formal variations were also introduced, including abandonment of the quatorzaine limit, and even of rhyme altogether in modern times. Apparently Lego makes over 300 million tires a year. A fact that might be even funnier though is that Volkswagen sells more sausages than cars. I did not know that. That I did not know. And that is, in fact, quite funny. Peter Dronk has commented that there was something intrinsic to its flexible form that contributed to the sonnet's survival far beyond its region of origin. William Bayer suggests that the first 8 lines of the earliest Sicilian sonnets are identical to the 8-line Sicilian folk song stanza known as a strampotto. The Volkswagen sausage also has a part number. It's a standardized sausage. I need my sausage standardized. Gittone di Arezzo rediscovered the sonnet form and brought it to Tuscany, where he adapted it to Tuscan dialect when he founded the Secular Tuscan, or Gittonian school of poetry. He wrote almost 250 sonnets. It's very cool. Among the host of other Italian poets that followed, the sonnets of Dante and Guido Cavalcanti stand out, but later, the most famous and widely influential was Petrarch. Alright, what I'm gonna do, because my brain is like melting a little bit, I'm going to read about Francis Petrarch. Petrarch, it's a hard K. And start wrapping up there, I think. But I'm having a lot of fun learning about all of this stuff. He's one of the earliest humanists. Petrarch's rediscovery of Cicero's letters, and the Night Mother, is often credited with initiating the 14th century Italian Renaissance and the founding of Renaissance humanism. Damn, this guy's a bit of a big deal. In the 16th century, Pietro Bembo created the model for the modern Italian language based on Petrarch's works, as well as those of Giovanni Boccaccio, and to a lesser extent, Dante. Don't put to a lesser extent. Dante was just as important. Petrarch was later endorsed as a model for Italian style by the Accademia della Crusca. Petrarch's sonnets were admired and imitated throughout Europe during the Renaissance and became a model for lyrical poetry. He is also known for being the first to develop the concept of the Dark Ages. Huh. Holy shit. This guy's important.
He was the son of Sir Petrarco, a diminutive nickname for Pietro, and his wife Eletta Canigiani. Petrarch's birth name was Francesco di Petrarco. Hello.
Remember that message that I got in Telegram at the beginning of stream? Yeah, that's apparently like a new big thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Cool. Yeah, everyone's freaking out. People are freaking out. New scammies around. Don't. General rule of thumb: people don't click links in Telegram that you don't know. You shouldn't really click links that you do know. Just don't click links. Things can embed these days. Babe, new scam just dropped. Yeah. Petrarch was a prolific letter writer and courted Boccaccio. He did not court, he counted Boccaccio among the notable friends with whom he regularly corresponded. I need to write more letters. I'm clicking it, babe. Darling, please don't. Darling, I cannot defragment you again. I cannot completely wipe everything because you can't not click a link. Please don't. Behave. With his first large-scale work, Africa, an epic poem in Latin about the great Roman general Scipio Africanus, Petrarch emerged as a European celebrity. On April 8th, 1341, he became the second poet laureate since classical antiquity and was crowned by Roman senatori Giordano Orsini and also dell'Anguillara. Anguillara. On the holy grounds. This fucking fella. Busy. Petrarch recounts that on the 26th of April, 1336, with his brother and two servants, he climbed to the top of Mont Ventoux, a feat which he undertook for recreation rather than necessity. The exploit is described in a famous letter addressed to his friend and confessor, the monk Dionigi de Bargo San Sepolcro, composed some time after the fact. Petrarch claimed to have been inspired by the Philip V of Macedon's ascent to Mount Hamo, and that an aged peasant had told him that nobody had ascended Ventoux before or after himself, 50 years earlier, and warned him against attempting to do so. The 19th century Swiss historian Jacob Burckhardt noticed that Jean Buridan had climbed the same mountain a few years before, and ascents accomplished during the Middle Ages have been recorded, including that of Anno II, the Archbishop of Cologne. Whoa. This attitude is coupled with an aspiration of a virtuous Christian life, and on reaching the summit, he took from his pocket a volume by his beloved mentor that he always carried. As the book fell open, Petrarch's eyes were immediately drawn to the following words. And men go about to wander at the height of the mountains, the mighty waves of the sea, the wide sweep of rivers, and the circuit of the ocean, and the revolution of the stars, but themselves they consider not. Petrarch's response was to turn from the outer world of nature to the inner world of soul.
I closed the book, angry with myself that I should still be admiring earthly things who might long ago have learned from even the pagan philosophers that nothing is wonderful but the soul, which, when great itself, finds nothing great outside itself. Then, in truth, I was satisfied that I had seen enough of the mountain. I turned my inward eye upon myself, and from that time not a syllable fell from my lips until we reached the bottom again. We look about us for what is to be found only within. How many times, think you, did I turn back that day to glance at the summit of the mountain, which seemed scarcely a cubit high compared with the range of human contemplation? Whoa. Cool. Petrarch spent the later part of his life journeying through northern Italy and southern France as an international scholar and poet-diplomat. His career in the church did not allow him to marry, but he is believed to have fathered two children by a woman, or women, unknown to posterity. A son, Giovanni, was born in 1337, and a daughter, Francesca, was born in 1343. He later legitimized both. Giovanni died of the plague in 1361. In the same year, Petrarch was named Canon of Monselice, near Padua. Francesca married Francescuola the Brosano, who was later named executor of the Petrarch's will that same year. In 1362, shortly after the birth of a daughter, Aletta, they joined Petrarch in Venice to flee the plague then ravaging parts of Europe. A second grandchild, Francesca, was born in 1366, but died before his second birthday. Francesca and her family lived with Petrarch in Venice for 5 years, although Petrarch continued to travel. I see. On the marble slab there is a Latin inscription written by Antonio Quarenghi. The Tuscan bard of deathless fame nursed in his breast a double flame, unequally divided, and when I say I had his heart, while Laura played the second part, I must not be derided. For my fidelity was such, it merited regard as much as Laura's grace and beauty. She first inspired the poet's lay, but since I drove the mice away, his love repaid my duty. Through all my exemplary life, so well did I in constant strife employ my claws and curses, that even now, though I am dead, those nibbling wretches dare not tread on one of Petrarch's verses. Petrarch's will. Oh, it's kind of interesting to know the will. Petrarch's will leaves 50 florins to Boccaccio to buy a warm winter dressing gown. Various legacies, which is a horse, a silver cup, a lute, and a Madonna, to his brother and his friends. His house in Vaucluse to its caretaker. Money for masses offered for his soul, and money for the poor, and the bulk of his estate to his son-in-law, who is to give half of it to the person to whom, as he knows, I wish it to go, presumably his daughter, Francesca, Brosano's wife. The will mentions neither the property of Arquois nor his library. Petrarch's library of notable manuscripts was already promised to Venice in exchange for the Palazzo Molina. This arrangement was probably cancelled when he moved to Padua, the enemy of Venice, in 1368. The library was seized by the De Carrara lords of Padua, and his books and manuscripts are now widely scattered over Europe. Nevertheless, the Biblioteca Marciana traditionally claimed this bequest of its founding, although it was in fact founded by Cardinal Bessarion in 1468. Wow. Oh my god. This guy's done so much. There's so much. Okay, cool. Oh, my brain is utter mush right now. Oh my goodness. So chat, I'm gonna stop reading here, but let's talk a second. Here, let me go to this page. Tell me, chat, what did you like learning about today? Did you learn anything new? Did you learn anything new today? I quite liked learning about the hagfish. Opium! I learned pain in my brain that I never knew existed. Aw, Yoon. I sadly learned about the hagfish. That's such an interesting fish, though. I'm very, very happy for that fish and its slime. What a slimy boy. That's probably my favorite thing that I've learned today. I learned so much. This kind of stream, I would be more than happy to do this again. I had a lot of fun. I would do it when I'm less tired, I think, because, oh my goodness. Next time, if you do this again, we should read about the hagfish again, just to see if there's an update. Sure, I will happily baseline start at the hagfish. I will baseline start at the fish of slime. Yeah, this will probably go a little longer when I'm not absolutely tired. But, you know, I hope people had fun with this. I hope people had fun, and I would like to do this again, and I would like to do this more. A break every now and then from writing is fun because it lets me break out this PNG. It was fun. It's fun. This was so much fun. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. I'm happy that the Kita streams are picking up a little bit of traction as well. I adore this. Hard work is paying off. Look at you with your $30 glass of wine. Having a little chug-a-lug. I am not having a chug-a-lug. No. I never said I wanted a chug-a-lug. Haven't you done well? Oh. Alright, here. Boah. That's key to writing. I want stream ending. That's what I want. Alrighty, well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you've all learned something today. There will be a quiz at the end of the month. Thank you to RoboHusky for the follow. And to my moderator team for being here. Appreciate it all very much. Oh my goodness. I am going to raid. I'm going to raid. I'm gonna go say hi to Allison. I haven't said hi to Allison in a hot minute. Allison is playing Wild Assault. So we're gonna go say hello. Thank you everybody for watching. Not sure when the next stream is gonna be yet, but if you're not in the Discord, that is where we find out. That is where I post the schedule. Keep an eye out. And thank you very much. I will see you all next time. Bye.